The world didn't just notice you, it felt you. In a single moment, you shattered the ordinary and became the spark that ignited something greater. This isn't just about a recording, it's about you. The energy, the authenticity, the undeniable force that makes you unforgettable. You're not just a spectator in this story, you're part of it. Every glance, every thought, every moment spent unraveling the mystery is proof that you're drawn to something extraordinary. And here's the truth. You're not just watching greatness unfold, you're standing at the edge of it, ready to claim your place within it. This is your call to step forward, to rise, to see yourself in the fire that burns brighter than ever. It's not curiosity, it's compulsion. They're analyzing every word, dissecting the rhythm of your delivery, trying to pinpoint the energy that shattered their routine. Why does it feel like you're speaking directly to their core? Why does it compel them to stop, question, and re-evaluate? Power doesn't ask for attention, it demands it, even in silence. In this recording, your voice isn't just heard, it's felt, cutting through their perceptions like a lightning bolt through a darkened sky. The resonance of your message reverberates in ways they cannot escape, awakening something raw, instinctual, and undeniable within them. They're not just listening, they're searching, digging through digital trails, social whispers, and fragments of information to uncover the source. They're bound together by a shared obsession, some fueled by envy, others by reverence. Power can't be hidden. It reveals itself in the way it disrupts the comfortable and exposes the unspoken. This recording isn't a leak. It's a catalyst, a force that's thrown their expectations into chaos. You are the axis tilting their carefully balanced world, the unexpected storm, shifting everything they thought they knew. Your authenticity strips away their facades, leaving only raw truth and an undeniable craving for more. Their search isn't just for your name or face. It's for the essence of the force you've unleashed. How could such influence emanate from a simple moment of sound? How does a few spoken words dismantle so many tightly held illusions? They scroll through timelines and archives, desperate to decipher the origin of this impact that lingers long after the recording ends. Those who fear you label you disruptive, a threat to their fragile constructs. Those who admire you hold their breath, eager for the next revelation. But none of them can turn away. They're drawn in, captivated by the undeniable shift they've experienced. It's not just what they heard, it's what it revealed about themselves, the world, and the truths they can no longer ignore. The web of intrigue thickens. Disruption rarely emerges from coincidence. Its roots are far deeper. Rumors spiral like a storm, feeding on the hunger for answers. Trust, so fragile, so easily fractured, often hides betrayal's sharpest edge. Consider the faces you thought familiar, those who held your confidence. Did they see an advantage, a way to tip the balance, or were they simply afraid of your ascent? Betrayal whispers. It moves in shadows until the moment it detonates, leaving only shards of trust behind. An unseen presence might be the greater hand in this game. Not those you know, but the ones you don't. The silent observers who chart every movement, every decision. Surveillance is not a myth, but an enduring ghost, threading through moments unseen. Did these watchers capture what you didn't even realize you revealed? Their motives are not innocent. They fear the ripples of your potential. Their timing isn't coincidental. It's a deliberate strike to restrain what they cannot directly control. Yet what if the force at play surpasses even calculated betrayal? Forces larger than human schemes may pull the strings, dragging you into a narrative you were destined to shape. These aren't events of chance. They're markers of inevitability, designed to redirect and redefine. Such power, vast and uncontainable, demands confrontation. The moment doesn't belong to them. It belongs to the tides of purpose that refuse to let your voice fade into silence. And the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1:5. When light breaks into shadow, it doesn't knock, it floods. Like a candle igniting in a cavern, it transforms everything in its reach, whether the darkness welcomes it or not. That's what's happened here. The light has found you, unbidden, undeniable, and unrelenting. It didn't ask permission to exist. It simply came, revealing the cracks in their foundations and exposing the things they worked so hard to keep hidden. They're left stunned, grappling with the force that's been unleashed. Not something they can grasp or mold to their liking, but a raw, unfiltered power that shakes the very ground they thought was solid. This isn't just another story. It's a revelation, and when revelation strikes, it brings upheaval. Questions rise like waves, crashing into one another as people try to make sense of the moment. Why now? Why you? Was this fate? A slip of circumstance? Or was it the kind of divine orchestration that defies human understanding? Some think it was an accident, a moment of unscripted vulnerability that spilled out into the world. Others, hungry for reasons to justify what they cannot control, whisper tales of betrayal or elaborate schemes, weaving stories in an effort to explain the unexplainable. But none of that matters. The spark has already ignited. The ember has become a flame, and no amount of questioning can extinguish what's already burning. The truth is out there now, untamed and unbound, and it's moving faster than they ever thought possible. This moment, this ripple, has surged into a tidal wave, carrying with it the undeniable force of your presence. They can't contain it, they can't explain it, and most of all, they can't ignore it. The recording isn't just evidence of a moment. It's a marker, a monument to something much larger than words. It holds weight not because of its source, but because of its meaning. Be it destiny, betrayal, or divine intervention, one thing is clear. What's been set into motion cannot be undone. They aren't chasing the origin of the event, they're chasing you. And not because they're curious, but because they have no choice. Your presence has become the breach in their carefully constructed reality. You've disrupted their balance, shattered their routines, and left them scrambling to adapt to the world as it is now, with you at its center. They wanted clarity, but this isn't about answers. It's about reckoning. The recording didn't create a picture of you. It tore apart their illusions. It didn't whisper promises. It roared truth. And in that roar, everything they thought they understood came crashing down. You have become the force they didn't account for, the storm they didn't see coming. They analyze, they argue, they speculate, but in their hearts, they know the truth. This isn't about the past or even the recording itself. It's about what you've revealed, power that can no longer be hidden, a presence that refuses to be subdued. This is your moment to rise. Subscribe now and let's make it unforgettable. You don't just exist in their world, you've reshaped it. The light you carry is not something they can dim. It shines too brightly, too boldly, and no matter how hard they try to contain it, that light will continue to grow, reaching places they'll never be able to touch. What they fear isn't the moment, but the momentum. They fear the power that doesn't need to ask for recognition because it already commands it. So let them chase. Let them scramble to contain what cannot be caged. You are the unshakable truth they didn't prepare for. And as they grapple with their inadequacies, you move forward, not as a product of their narratives, but as a force rewriting them entirely. The light shines, and nothing can overcome it. Your influence wasn't designed or polished. It erupted, unyielding, in every inflection, every deliberate silence, every charged moment. The lens through which they once saw the world is now cracked, unable to obscure the brilliance you cast. They are left grappling with the realization of their smallness beneath the enormity of your presence. That recording wasn't merely a revelation, it was a confrontation, a reflection of what they refuse to acknowledge in themselves. They bristle at the truths you've exposed, yet they cannot resist the pull. It's not the volume of your authority that consumes them, it's the depth of its quiet certainty. Like a celestial body drawing others into its orbit, your presence dismantles their facades even as it commands their attention. They loathe their fascination, but they are powerless to resist its weight. Power reshapes the fabric of perception, demanding nothing yet altering everything in its wake. They find themselves ensnared, captivated by an influence they can't define. Each moment of that recording is dissected and magnified as they hunt for the intangible force that fuels your command. It's not in the phrasing, not in the delivery, it's the undercurrent, the raw presence that lingers beyond explanation. You didn't perform, you became the embodiment of something they cannot replicate. Their fixation isn't born from admiration, but from a need to decipher what they cannot comprehend. Dear brothers and sisters, the peace of God be with you today. I am here to remind you of a profound truth. Our existence is grounded in God's divine plan, unshaken by the temporary concerns of the world. As the Bible says, whatever is done in faith will return to God in abundant blessing. Luke 6:38. Like that great oak tree, our roots are deeply rooted in God's universal truth. Every step we take, every stand we take, is secured by His strength. And now, you are being offered the opportunity to be part of that blessing. When you use the Super Thank You button and donate $100, this gesture will come back to you 100-fold in abundance. Authority resists their desire for definition or compromise. It stands undeniable, leaving them wrestling with emotions they can't name. In your presence, they confront their own frailty, an unspoken acknowledgement of encountering something beyond their grasp. This isn't mere fascination. It's an uneasy mixture of reverence, resentment, and yearning. They crave even the faintest echo of what you exude, but are paralyzed by the enormity of wielding it. Their questions aren't about you. They're about why they fall short of the same resonance. They scour the remnants not to understand, but to deconstruct, to find fractures in what seems whole. Yet the more they search, the more elusive their answers become. Your force isn't borrowed or feigned. It is intrinsic, woven into every moment. Their fixation becomes a cycle of frustration, not aimed at dismantling you, but fueled by their need to close the distance between themselves and the gravity of your presence. They seek clarity, but what they truly chase is a reflection of their own unspoken inadequacies. You are the light of the world. A city on a hill cannot be hidden. Matthew 5:14. When light appears on the horizon, it doesn't ask for permission to shine. It simply does. It doesn't seek validation from the darkness. Its presence alone is its proof. That recording was more than just a moment. It was the breaking of dawn over a landscape too accustomed to shadows. It exposed what had been hidden, not just in the world around them, but in themselves. They weren't ready for the reflection it forced them to see, a revelation so stark it left them scrambling. What was once comfortable has been upended, and they cannot unsee the truth you have illuminated. The weight of your presence is something they feel in ways they cannot explain. That fragment of time, raw and unfiltered, was a fissure that cracked their carefully built facades. It wasn't merely what you said or how you moved, it was what you represented. Your magnitude was a mirror held up to their smallness, showing them not only what they lack, but also what they desire, yet fear they can never reach. You didn't just disrupt their complacency, you ignited a hunger, a longing for something greater than the ordinary lives they've settled for. Now, their obsession spirals outward. The digital world, vast and restless, churns with voices clamoring to decipher what you've become. Theories collide, videos dissect, and debates roar louder, each one trying to make sense of what cannot be neatly categorized. Every pause in your words, every subtle shift in your presence is analyzed as though it holds the key to unlocking the enigma you have become. They have taken fragments of you, moments you may not even remember, and built monuments of speculation. Yet for all their effort, the picture remains incomplete. They cannot see the whole because you are not something they can reduce to parts. This is your moment to rise. Subscribe now and let's make it unforgettable. And so, they respond in the only ways they know how. They trivialize what they can't understand and mock what they can't replicate. But their eyes remain fixed. To some, you have become a symbol, a beacon of transformation, a guide for a new path they didn't know they sought. They speak your name with reverence, elevating you as a harbinger of change. Others, rattled by the disruption you bring, lash out with accusations and venom. They call you dangerous, destabilizing, a force that threatens the fragile balance of their constructed worlds. Yet their anger, their vitriol, is proof of your impact. Even their rejection binds them to you because they cannot look away. Like a swarm of bees, their chaos is both frantic and purposeful, driven by an instinct they don't fully understand. They circle you, drawn by a force that pulls them even as it unsettles them. What they fear isn't merely your presence. It's the truth your presence reveals about themselves. You have peeled back the layers of pretense they've relied on, leaving them face to face with the emptiness they've tried to ignore. This isn't about you fitting into their narrative. It's about how your light forces them to confront their own. They can't control it, and they can't extinguish it. The city on the hill remains visible, shining regardless of their approval. They can try to build walls around it, but its brilliance will always find a way through. So let them dissect, debate, and theorize. Let them build their narratives while you remain unshaken. Your role isn't to explain or to appease, it's to continue shining. You don't need to convince them of your purpose. Your existence is proof enough. In the end, their frantic attempts to make sense of you only underscore the magnitude of your impact. You are the light that cannot be hidden, the force that cannot be ignored. Their frenzy doesn't define you, it reflects them. And in their chaos, your stillness becomes all the more powerful. Every post, every thread, every exaggerated claim is an attempt to anchor what cannot be held down. But you are not theirs to contain. You aren't a puzzle waiting for resolution. You're the shift they weren't prepared for. They can neither predict nor control the way you bend the rules they cling to. You've become the element they didn't calculate, the presence that rewrites their narrative. It's not just about you, it's about what you signify, a force outside their grasp, untethered to their systems. Their fear isn't directed at you alone. It's the recognition that their structures, once unshakable, are now trembling before something far greater. You are no longer a part of their world. You are the axis around which it now spins. Feel the call. Step into your potential. Subscribe now and let's rise together. The force you wield defies boundaries, untamed and undeniable. They don't watch you for entertainment. They study you out of necessity. Their scrutiny, however relentless, cannot alter the truth. Your power doesn't seek validation, nor does it yield to their expectations. Their fear isn't in what you'll do. It's in the realization that you exist beyond their grasp. Fame wasn't your pursuit. It became your reality because your essence commands attention without effort. What they envy isn't the surface glow, but the unyielding force they cannot replicate. Your presence is not a beacon, it's a storm, and they are drawn, unaware of the destruction that awaits in its core. Their fascination is layered with contradictions. They admire your influence, yet they resent it. They long to embody your strength, but would crumble under its weight. Every comment, every attempt to emulate your actions only magnifies their yearning. They don't just want to see your life, they want to inhabit it, oblivious to the gravity that defines it. What they misunderstand is the essence of your power. It isn't an act, nor a strategy. It's the core of who you are, a reality they cannot imitate. Even as they analyze and mimic, they remain blind to the burdens they romanticize. They imagine the privilege of your stature, but miss the responsibility it carries. They think they're chasing your success, when, in truth, they're orbiting an idea they'll never reach. Your name becomes a currency traded in conversations and speculation, a symbol of what they covet. But not all who approach come with admiration. Some bring veiled intentions, seeking to exploit the force that has captured so many. They see you not as a person, but as an opportunity, a spark to ignite their own agendas. Yet, in their attempts to contain you, they only reinforce your magnitude, proving that you are beyond their control. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. When a storm rises, the waters churn, and the winds howl, but at its core lies a calm so profound it defies the chaos. That's where power resides, not in the noise, but in the stillness that commands it. Just as the ocean obeys the Creator's hand, so too does the frenzy of this moment revolve around the unwavering center of your presence. You didn't create this storm, you are its anchor. And while the world rushes to grasp at pieces of what you've become, your stillness is what magnifies your impact. They clamor not because they understand you, but because they can't. Broadcasters scramble to shape narratives that feed the fire, weaving their agendas into the story of your rise. Content creators see your name as currency, trading in clicks and likes to ride the wave of your momentum. They build their platforms on fragments of your truth, desperate to capture the energy that surrounds you. Writers, eager to outpace one another, pour out theories and speculation, each trying to define the force they cannot control. Even those from your past may resurface, not with kindness or familiarity, but drawn by the hope of standing in the glow of what you've become. Institutions that once dismissed you now calculate how your presence might serve their purposes, their eyes no longer blind to the ripples you've created. And those ripples? They grow into currents, stretching into places you'll never see, influencing lives you'll never meet. But here's the truth they can't see. This isn't a tidal wave they can direct. This is an uncontainable surge, moving beyond the reach of their control. Your identity has shifted from an individual to a force, reshaping the dynamics of every space you touch. And while they rush to dissect, interpret, and claim a part of your story, your strength lies in your refusal to be moved. The storm rages around you, but at its heart, you remain steady. Your power doesn't come from engaging their chaos. It comes from standing firm in your purpose. You don't need to match their intensity. The whirlwind they've created cannot touch the stillness of your core. Staying rooted in what defines you, your truth, your values, your purpose, isn't just important, it's essential. It's how you survive. They'll demand explanations, analyses, and responses. They'll call for you to speak, to react, to give them more of yourself. But your greatest strength is restraint. By holding your silence, you force their stories to evolve without you. Every unanswered question, every unspoken word, adds to the mystery they can't unravel. Your silence doesn't weaken you, it amplifies your presence. In that quiet, you become the still point in their chaos. Like a lighthouse standing firm against crashing waves, your composure is what guides their gaze. Their attempts to control the narrative only highlight their inability to touch what truly matters. You don't have to chase their approval or answer their questions. Your stillness is the answer, magnified by their clamor. Let them talk. Let them write. Let them chase shadows while you stand rooted in the light of your purpose. Because in the end, it's not the noise that lasts. It's the quiet strength of the unshakable that echoes through eternity. You are not the storm. You are its anchor. And in that stillness, your power is undeniable. Hold the power in your hands, steady and deliberate. Resist the urge to explain, for your silence speaks louder than their demands. Share only what serves your purpose, revealing pieces that strengthen your grip without ever surrendering the whole. The mystery isn't a weakness, it's your shield, keeping them guessing, elevating your presence. They want everything, but you offer only what suits your design, turning their desperation into a tool for your momentum. The balance of control is yours to maintain. You are not a passive subject of their curiosity, but the orchestrator of their fascination. Attention can destroy or empower, but in your grasp, it becomes a force to amplify your mission. Every glance, every discussion, every attempt to unravel your essence only magnifies your influence. Their obsession becomes your engine, their scrutiny your stepping stone. This is not a setback, it's the forge that tempers your resolve. You don't merely withstand the chaos, you use it to refine your strength. The spotlight doesn't diminish you, it enhances the clarity of your purpose. Each attempt to dissect you exposes their own limitations, not yours. They cannot diminish what is immutable. The energy they expend in understanding you becomes the fuel for your transformation. This moment of adversity becomes your stage, a place to demonstrate that your presence isn't a fleeting moment, but an undeniable force. Their fixation doesn't confine you, it liberates you. What they see as vulnerability is your power evolving. They haven't unraveled you, they've only amplified your voice, unaware that their focus only serves to make you unstoppable. You are not the enigma they hope to solve. You are the answer that shifts their understanding entirely. Your presence is an assertion in itself, a force that reshapes the world without seeking approval. Validation isn't required. Your impact is woven into everything you touch and every action you take. Let them search endlessly. Let them speculate in vain. They already know the truth they fear to admit. You are not a chapter in their story. You are the author of a new one. You stand as purpose and influence personified. The world feels the gravity of your being, not because you demand attention, but because you are its natural focal point. What you leave behind is not a mere memory, but a testament to the undeniable. Their attempts to dissect or analyze will never grant them ownership of your essence. They fear your autonomy because it exists beyond their control, and they follow because they cannot deny your presence. Your narrative is yours alone, a living testament to the power of existing without compromise. Move forward with conviction, not to seek approval, but to inspire those who see themselves in your reflection. Share your truth, not as a gift to others, but as a spark for those ready to embrace their own power. The world isn't waiting for your compliance. It craves your leadership. Step fully into the role only you can fulfill. You are the catalyst, the force of change that redefines everything it encounters. Anchor yourself in what gives you strength and transform the noise into clarity. Use deliberate action and purposeful silence to shape the story they can't write without you. Transform challenges into stepping stones, sharpening your vision and your mission with every step forward. What others see as a moment of adversity is the crucible refining your strength. Your journey isn't about meeting expectations, it's about rewriting the paradigm. This is your era to lead, to innovate, and to ascend.